the more I sit and think, the more I realize I got some issues. And I've been thinking I was healed.
So, ladies, women in 2025 are finding men to be very unlikable and unattractive. And men are just now finding out that they're unlikable and unattractive. And I believe that this is true. Hence the fall in birth rate. Hence the divorce rate. Over 70% of women are the ones initiating divorce. Hence them forcing the laws and changing laws. And y'all, it just, everything points to this being true. And men are just now realizing that, hey, maybe we are the problem. Am I the problem? I may be the problem. Even the red pill is dying. As fast as it rose up to it took about maybe 10 years from the time that it rose all the way to its height. But right now in 2025, today is December the 1st, 2025, red pill is actively on life support. So, let's find out what makes these men unattractive and unlikable to women. They won't listen. Of course, they won't care, because y'all know men don't listen to women. I've done videos on it. I've talked about it. A lot of y'all have made videos and seen videos on that. Men and boys just do not. They are biologically, well, I don't know if it's biological, but in this patriarchy, they are just subconsciously trained not to listen to women. And not only subconsciously, they are like literally trained to not value women's thoughts or opinions. And that started in the Bible. They blame Eve for their fall, for the fall of humanity. If you believe the Bible, that's what they believe. Even though Adam was supposed to be like protecting her and watching out for her and keeping her safe from the devil, that was his first job, and he failed it. But then they put the blame on her. But whatever. Let's see why men are unlikable and unattractive in 2025. I will talk to you ladies later. Bye.
Okay, now you know what? I have seen comments like this over and over and over again, and I'm going to say this. I actually am starting to think that the larger question needs to be asked: are most men unlikable, and is the reason most women are single because the men that are surrounding them, the men that they're close to, what have you, they're undesirable as well. They haven't done the self work. Now, I remember reading an article. I think this was last year, the year before, that said most men do not emotionally mature until age 52 to 54, from an emotional perspective. Now, what I'm noticing is that every time we have conversations surrounding men and women, it's always the woman's fault. The woman did this, woman that, blah, 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 blah. I hear all that. But this lady's comment, Marie's comment, says, y'all stay missing the key points. Likable and successful men are more desired. Most men aren't either. It's only women's fertility that dwindles. Now, when you take her statement at face value, and then you look at the fact that men are reporting having less sex now than at any point in the past 20 years, you look at the fact that men are saying now that they're going on fewer dates, women are choosing to die alone, men are choosing to stay by themselves. Women have been catching the brunt of the relationship conversation for like the past 5 years, from Kevin Samuels up to through the present day. But is it at least worth the conversation to say that maybe it is men that are less desirable, maybe it is men that are not doing the work, maybe it is men that are not preparing themselves to be able to provide and care for the kind of woman they say they want? Because if that's the case, then damn it, we have the answer finally to the gender war. We have the answer. It's not women that are really less desirable, because women can always get picked, but it's actually men. The majority of men are not actually capable of having the kind of woman they say they want, which is why women have focused only on the top 20%. That's why men that are quote unquote average can't get women, because women don't want average men for child reproduction. They don't want men for,
Once again, they don't listen to women, so this is not true. Women choose average men all the time. Women are telling men what they want, and is not a top 20% earner. Women are saying, we want you to be able to communicate, take us on dates, help us around the house, help us with the kids.
Care of their homes and that kind of thing. Could that actually be the argument? Could that be the root cause of all of the issues? Let's talk about it in the comments below.
6 years ago, the girl I loved more than anything on the entire planet broke up with me. I was absolutely shattered, devastated, heartbroken. The world had ended as far as I was concerned. I did nothing for weeks but sit in the fetal position and cry. I couldn't eat, sleep, or drink, and with what little energy I had to muster, I begged and belted, "Why couldn't you tell me? Why didn't we talk about this if these things were bothering you so much?" She did. The breakup did not come out of nowhere. She'd been telling me for a long time. I was just unself-aware enough to let it sink in. Until about 2 months later. I wasn't crying as much, but I definitely was still shattered, and I was going through some photos because that's just what you do. And I found this one that we took 4 days before the breakup because I wanted to see, like, where can I pinpoint where it all went wrong. 4 days before the breakup, we went to this little beach town and went to dinner, and we went to the beach, and I'm smiling, goofing it up. I'm just having a great time. And I took some selfies of us. And I'll never forget this feeling. I looked at it, and I really looked at it, and I was like, she is tired. She's drained. Her glow is gone. Mentally, spiritually, emotionally exhausted. And in that moment, so many things came rushing back to me that she had been telling me all along, and I just didn't hear it. I robbed her of her peace for way too long. My anxious attachment, my insecurities, my need for control. She wasn't herself. She couldn't be herself around her friends, her family. She wasn't herself. And she was tired. She was unaligned. And it hit me like a ton of bricks in that moment that not only was I the issue, but now I've got some shit to work on. I'll forever be grateful for her for doing what she did, because I know it was tough. And she told me years later how excruciatingly tough it was to break up with me. But she did the right damn thing, and she stood true to her alignment and her spirit. And in my case, I spent the last 6 years on my healing journey, which I am unbelievably proud of. But how does this apply to you? I want you, in good faith, to do an audit of that relationship that broke you. That perfect relationship and they left me out of nowhere. Or that relationship where you don't think you were the problem, but they told you you were. If you do an audit in good faith, you're going to find the answers happened long before the actual cataclysmic event. I want you to really, really think about that. In my case, I was the villain, as I said in another one of my videos. I was the issue, and she told me I just didn't let it sink in. This is your slap in the face, your light bulb moment. Really, really let that sink in.
Men can't understand because they lack empathy. Is that correct?
No. They can't understand because they don't want to listen to anything a woman says. Not a single thing. Now, you missed a show that I did a couple days ago. There was a post that men put up that's going viral, and it's a series of memes to tell a story about quote unquote men's lives. And they basically, in this picture, they depicted that they get the short end of the stick, that they sacrifice their life and they do everything that a woman asked them to do, right? And then when he come in from work, she nagging, right? They, in this story, 3 memes out of this story, the quote unquote nagging that the woman was doing, she had no words coming out of her mouth, just an expression to show that she was nagging, which showed that he wasn't listening to a single thing that came out of her mouth. Not a single thing. But then when it came to him justifying why he feels like that towards the end, then he put words in her mouth that quote unquote were sabotaging him. He did not put words in her mouth where she was voicing legitimate concerns about her. Men do not listen to women. They do not listen to women's cries. They do not listen to women's complaints. They don't listen to anything that a woman says. And you know why he doesn't? Because he's self-centered. And everything in his mind revolves around him, his feelings, and what he wants. Anytime a man approaches a woman and he think he flirting with her and he trying to shoot his shot, he don't shoot his shot based on what he can do for her. He shoot his shot based on what she can do for him.
Is there something wrong with me that like I don't find any guy attractive, like ever? I don't. I give these guys a chance. I kiss this guy. He kissed like a bird. I was like a baby bird in the tree and he was feeding me and I was like, ew, no. I'm not auditioning for Animal Planet. You can tell so much about a guy by the way he kisses. And I don't know who taught them how to kiss. I don't know what they're doing. I really think these homeboys that I go out, they were the boys that like practice kissing teddy bears. They were kissing posters and shit. I am not a wall, nor a baby bird.
I feel like this is what a lot of men can't accept. And that's why they're so confused as to why a woman would not want to be in a relationship, would just want to be single. Because a lot of men overestimate their value, their worth. Hell, I think women should start doing that, to be honest. Okay, I think women should start having the audacity of a man. We should start having the audacity of a man. Because a lot of them think way too highly of themselves, bro. They think way too highly of themselves. Meanwhile, everybody around them is miserable because they're making them miserable. Their wife, their kids, hell, even their parents, their siblings, nobody wants to be around them, yet they don't think that. Oh, I'm a man, I'm essential. Newsflash, some of y'all aren't.
Most men don't have their own personalities. Like, that should be so sad. I don't know what it is, but it's like, if dreads is trending, everybody got dreads. If neck tats is trending, everybody got neck tats. If being a hood dude is trending, everybody's a hood dude. I don't understand it. Or dudes start acting like they favorite rappers. Like, that should be blowing me. Like, be yourself. And when did being hood become an aesthetic? Like, when did that become like a fashion statement? I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's like, dudes from the trenches don't even want to be in the trenches. So why the hell do you want to be in the trenches? It's like dudes from big houses, they become from these nice ass neighborhoods and they start toting straps with switches, sagging their pants, wearing the tightest pants possible, talking in slang, and start doing crash shit. I don't understand it, but if this is our generation of men, we're cooked. We're cooked. I swear we're cooked.
I think it's so funny and it tickles me every time that when men don't have anything worthwhile to add or they know they're not adding value to a conversation, they're just going to dismiss you by calling you fat, ugly, dumb.
Have you ever thought about why a majority of men just blatantly suck? I was thinking about this on the way home from work today, and I genuinely believe that a large part of the reason of why men are so awful and are so much more likely to be toxic and manipulative and immature is because men are taught from a young age that showing emotion is feminine and proves that you're weak. We are taught from a young age that all men must be strong, blah, blah, blah. And we have made so much progress and so many strides in the realm of mental health over the past few years. And we have come to learn that suppressing your emotions is horrible for you. So the longer you go suppressing your emotions instead of feeling them, the further you get from possessing awareness and respect and logic and empathy like most women have. The sooner you start working through your shit, going to therapy, working on healing your wounds and healing from your trauma, the sooner you become a better person and possess all of the traits to be in a healthy relationship. Men lack so much emotional awareness and so much empathy because we are fed from the day that we're born that being emotional and showing your emotions is weak and feminine. So it makes sense that men are inherently awful, and that's why we see that the men who do go to therapy and the men who do work on healing themselves are the ones who are the good ones. Anyways, those were just my thoughts, and I wanted to chit-chat about them on here because I just think it's pretty interesting. And sometimes I forget to think about why men are just awful. Like, at least there is a reason to it, you know? Like, as much as we like to believe that men just, like, choose to wake up and be awful, they don't. And let me tell you, this does not just apply to straight men. I have come across so many fucking toxic ass gay men or queer men who are just more toxic than you could ever even imagine. Because arguably, gay men are much more likely to have a lot of unresolved trauma. I think sometimes women are just like so set on being like, oh, gay men are awesome, gay men rock. But there are some awful, awful gay men out there, let me tell you. And I have caught feelings for quite a few of them. Now that I'm on my healing journey, that is no longer anything that will ever happen again because the girls are healing. Or the guys, if we're being literal here. Anyways, send your boyfriend to therapy. He needs it.
So I've heard a lot of women complaining that there are very, very few attractive guys out there compared to attractive women. Like I've seen TikToks where women will say that for every 100 guys that they see out there, they only come across maybe 1 or 2 attractive guys. And the same thing happens on dating apps. Here's my theory as to what is actually happening. And a lot of it is in the brain. So fellas who played video games back in the early 2000s. This game is from NBA Street Volume 2, which came out in 2000. Now, I know what you're asking. It's like, okay, what does video games in the early 2000s have to do with women thinking that most men are ugly? Well, I'll tell you. Back then, kids will play this game like in the early 2000s, like literally 2000 was when the PS2 came out. And they swore that these graphics were real. Like we swore that this was like the best that like we thought these graphics here were dope. And here is a still from NBA 2K25. Like that's the graphics now. So here's what I'm kind of getting at. What I'm getting at is people's brains were different 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, as opposed to now. And I think that because we are inundated with images of attractive people, in women's case, they're inundated with attractive people via Instagram, and because of dating apps, you know, they have access to a wide variety of attractive men from really around the world. So similar to graphics, to where we can't go back and play, like a lot of kids, like they can't, you can't give a kid a PlayStation 1 game. They'll be like, what the heck, what the F is this? Like this game sucks. Like the graphics are horrible. But a kid in 2000 playing a PlayStation game, like a PS1 game, will be like, okay, no, like they can play this, right? So in a similar way that people's kids' brains, or just really people's brains, have grown accustomed to the more advanced graphics. So I think that in the same way that the human brain has adapted to look at graphics now, or even when it comes to like CGI, like if you go back and watch an old sci-fi movie from the 50s or even like the 70s, we'll be like, okay, like that creature looks kind of fake. Like we watch an old Star Wars movie versus the graphics now, where it's like a lot more advanced. So I think that's the same exact principle is happening, but when it comes to attractive people. Now, I do think this is happening more with women, because I'll have to think as to, because I think that it's more of a woman thing than a man thing. It is. I think so. Like, I don't think that a guy who looks like Tupac, if he were to come out now, I don't think a lot of women would find him attractive like that because he's bald. Like, women don't really find bald dudes. They like, I speak from experience. They don't, that's not the preference now. It's not the preference now. Now, you could get away with it in the 90s. You could get away with it even in the early 2000s, but not now. That's why you got a lot of dudes, you know, having hair transplants and shit. This is just one example. Same thing for height. This whole notion that you have to be like over 6'2", 6'4", you know, like 6'5", blue eyes, like sick. This wasn't a thing in the early 90s. This wasn't a thing in the early 2000s, right? So I just think that a lot of women's physical standards have become extreme, similar in a way of video game standards and the graphics becoming more extreme. Like there's some of y'all understand what I'm talking about, but I'll end the video there.
Women don't care about looks as much as men do. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but hear me out. Naturally, most men are attracted to physical appearance in women. Of course, we look for many other traits as well, but initially it is physical attractiveness. Whereas women, on the hand, are slightly different. Of course, looks are going to turn some heads and give you a head start, but having a handsome face is not a strong indicator of attractiveness for women. 1,000 women were asked what they find attractive in a man, and only 25% of them said a handsome face. Women are way more attracted to other traits, like your playfulness, your physical strength, your emotional stability, how reliable you are, and a load of other things. So as a guy, as long as you're somewhat in good shape, you look after your hair and facial hair, and you don't dress like a bum, then you'll make the cut. Men's ability to create attraction lies in how they can talk to women. Attraction is really created through conversation. And the good news is this is something you can learn.
I just realized something, dog. I just realized that I always been a problem in my relationships. I always been a problem. Cause I'm gonna break it down to y'all. Like, I ain't looking for no pity, and I'm just want to be honest. Like, I grew up in a single mother home, right? Seeing my mama date so-called pookies and ray rays and stuff. Seeing how she elevate these men to do stuff for them, and these men end up abusing her and dogging her out, treating her bad, all that. But the crazy part about it is she ended up always staying until she couldn't take it no more. So seeing this type of stuff growing up as a kid, I didn't realize how it was training me subconsciously to treat women the same way. This is the reason why I ain't never been able to really love strong and love hard and love for real, man. Me and my mama's relationship just really got strong like some years ago for real. Cause I resented her for a while because I ain't know my dad. You know, I ain't grow up with a dad. You know, I grew up with my grandmama and granddad. I seen how my granddad had treated my grandmama. You know, but that was later on in life. By that time, that shit was already ingrained in my brain. But I ain't realize it was in my brain subconsciously because I ain't never, I ain't never thought in my head like I'm finna dog a chick out on purpose. It's just that when something subconsciously is going on in our brains, we don't realize that we programmed to do certain stuff. And I realized, man, that God always blessed me with good women. God always blessed me with good women, bro. I honestly think that every woman that I decide to really love and care about and take serious, bro, I really believe that they really loved me and was faithful and wasn't doing nothing. But I always end up being unfaithful. I always being toxic, and they always end up giving me a taste of my own medicine, bro. And this last woman I lost, bro, bro, this pain cut so deep, bro, because I'm older now. We're supposed to have kids. Like, I don't care, bro. Like, we're supposed to have kids. Like, we moved in together. I'm talking about, bro, like, everything was perfect. And, man, I betrayed her in the worst way. I betrayed her. I deceived her. I lied to her, you know, because I was afraid. Not out of malicious intent. I was just afraid to, like, really, it was almost like she was too perfect or something. And I could tell she had a past because I could just tell when the woman had a past. But I could tell that she was willing to like, really change and really turn from her old ways just to be with me. And along the line somewhere, man, I hurt her, man. And, man, she hurt me back in the worst way. And it's like our pain brought us together stronger. I don't know how it happened, but our pain brought us back together stronger, bro. You know, man, she won't even return my calls. She won't text back. She won't do nothing, bro. And as a man, bro, I don't care, bro. I'm holding myself accountable, bro. Like, man, if you see this to any woman I ever hurt, man, I apologize. I truly apologize. Like, please forgive me. Please forgive me because I ain't even know myself, you know. But this last woman, man, I really believe she's the one. And I believe I believe it's gonna be a deeper pain. It's gonna propel me to be a stronger man, a better man, because hey, bro, if you got a good woman, bro, lock in with her, bro. Don't let your pride and your ego make you lose out on something special, something good, bro, because it's hard to find a good woman out here, bro. Ain't nothing out here in the streets for real. I've been crying all day, bro. I'm holding back the tears right now because I'm recording this shit, but I've been crying all day thinking about this shit. Like, man, I always fumble the good women, man. I always fumble. I always fumble, bro. I always fumble. I'm telling you right now, as a man, bro, do not fumble a good woman, bro. Do not fumble a woman that love your dirty, stinky, musty drawers, bro, when you get out of work. You're not gonna find it. It's gonna be hard to find it again, bro. Do not fumble a good woman, bro. I'm telling you. Take it from me. Please, take it from me.
So let me get this right. We're not allowed to want men for their money. We're not allowed to want men just because they're good looking. That leads me to believe that you think we should want men for their personalities. And I have really terrible news for you.
Men genuinely never fail to amaze me. I sometimes know, like, I actually am really concerned for them, because do some of them not, like, feel embarrassed, or, like, take any sort of hints ever? Because tell me why. I'm at university. A little bit of backstory. Tuesday, I'm at university, and some guy asked me for a pen. Sure. Take my pen. Like, no problem. He uses my pen. I was a little bit suspicious because he was, like, literally on the whole other side of the class, and I'm like, you could have asked anyone for a pen. Like, why did he come all the way up to me to ask for a pen? But it's fine. I still give it to him because, you know, I'm super nice and everything, whatever. And then at the end of the class, he gives me the pen back. He's like, thanks. I'm like, yeah, no problem. He's like, so can I have your number? I'm like, I said 4 because, you know, maybe he needs class notes or something. I say 4, and then we were, like, walking out of the door, and he was like, sorry. Sorry. Like, he, like, went into his bag, and I was like, okay, I don't know what he's doing, but I went home. I left. So then I go back to the same class today, walk into class. I see him there. I'm like, oh no, kind of nervous. I sit on the other side of the class again. He grabs all his stuff. He sits right next to me. I was like, perfect. Love this so much. Starts talking to me. He's basically just asking for my number again. I'm like, no, sorry, like, you can't have my number. He's like, why? I'm like, oh, like, I have a boyfriend. Like, I'm not giving you my number, whatever. He's like, oh, like, well, can we just, like, be friends? Like, can we be friends with benefits? I'm like, no, like, what do you mean, can we be friends with benefits? Like, why? I'm like, so my boyfriend was like, oh, tell him, like, your boyfriend kills me. So I was like, oh, like, my boyfriend, like, he kills people, like, you can't, like, you're not taking my number, like, he kills people, like, so this guy's like, oh, like, I'm really scared. I'm like, yeah, like, you should be really scared, whatever. Basically, like, he's just being weird as fuck the whole class. Won't stop talking to me. He's looking at my phone. He's like, are you texting? I'm like, why do you care who I'm texting? He tries to give me his phone to put my number, and I'm like, I'm not giving you my number. Like, what don't you understand? Like, what don't you understand? It's like been trying to, like, whisper at me and, like, talk to me, like, in the class, but I was just pretending I, like, didn't see him. Like, I was just, like, looking away, like, yeah, like, no, like, he's not talking to me. And I also, like, normally if this is happening, I would just leave the class, like, okay, class is done for me today. But it was the last class, and she was doing exam review, and I actually wanted to listen. So I was like, oh, this is so perfect. I love this so much that he won't stop talking to me. And I'm very non-confrontational, but I did say to him at one point, do I need to move? Like, I'm trying to listen, and you're being annoying, basically. And he's like, okay, sorry. And then he stopped talking for a bit. I was like, hey, thank God. And I pull out my chapstick, my bliss sticks, and this guy goes, this is really what threw me over the edge, I think. He's like, can I use some of that? I'm like, if you think you're putting your dirty little finger in my bliss sticks, like, there's no fucking way. I was like, no, like, you actually can't use it. He's like, oh, okay, sorry. And then he hits me with, I'm gonna ask you something weird. I don't even think I answered. I just stared at him like I didn't even want to hear it. Like, please actually don't. This guy says, so can I just kiss you one time? What? No. I don't even know what I said, because what do you even say to that? Who is kissing in philosophy class? Who's kissing in philosophy class? What are you talking about? He thought, I think he thought he ate with that one, like, because what did he expect me to say? Like, okay, like, just one time? Like, sure, okay, one kiss, one time. Like, no, like, what? There's no way that that's a real thing that somebody asked me in class. Like, there's actually just no way that he asked me that. I was like, I'm absolutely not kissing you right now.
in, or like ever, but like in this class right now, you're gonna ask someone for a kiss? It's just really insane to me. So basically, once I decided I'd had enough, the teacher already explained what I wanted her to explain. I started packing up my stuff because I was like, yeah, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And he's like, oh, you're leaving? I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving. He's like, oh, like, can I join you? I'm like, no, like, I'm going home. What? So yeah, luckily that was the last class of the semester, so hopefully I never see him again. So if I do, I'm calling the police. Like, what is actually going through some of these guys' minds? Comment down below.
Boys who are never taught to accept the word no become men who refuse to accept the word no. Teach them now.
Girl, black men are the hardest group of men to date. And if you don't believe me, you can look at the divorce rates. Black men that marry black women get a divorce rate that's at 100% higher than the average. Black men that marry white women are at a 200% divorce rate increase. Black women that date non-black men are anywhere from 20 to 44% less in divorce rate. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because most black women are dating and marrying black men, and there are certain challenges involved with that I think are important, so I wanted to share those with you so you understood. Am I saying that I don't want you to be with a black man? Not at all. 2/3 of my clients actually end up with black men, but I want to make sure that you're vetting them very well so that you get healthy, healed black men. Okay? Okay, so what am I talking about? First, let's talk about mom. Girl, in the 90s, 75% of the households, black households, were single mother households. So black men generally have two relationships with their mother. Either they were a mesh, so entitled, and they think that they're the prize, and they are looking for women to be mothers, or their mother was very highly critical, judgmental. So a lot of black men are actually running away from black women because they're running away from their mothers. So a question that you want to ask if you're dating a black guy is ask him about his relationship with his mother. Yeah? Okay, number 2, money. Unfortunately, because black men are less educated and some, systematic prejudices, racism, discrimination, black men are not making as much money as probably they need to be. But also, they're making less money than black women. So, and this is the only kind of racial group where this happens. And so it is very hard to find a black man that is making more than you. And if that is the case, oftentimes, black men will feel emasculated and often try to humble you and control you because they don't feel like they're in financial control. So that makes it a little bit challenging when you're dealing with black men. You want to ask him what he does, right? You want to ask him, and then you want to glass door that mofo, girl. You also want to ask him how many people he manages, right? Because if he can't manage people professionally, he probably can't manage people personally. Thirdly, you want to ask about the men in his life, his mentors. A lot of black men actually don't have many mentors, so it's really weird to say, and it feels very archaic, but it's very true, and it is this. A man is looking for an alpha man to kind of check him. That is kind of the orders of operation, PEMDAS, if you will, in terms of how to kind of raise a man. And so if he doesn't have mentors, a father, other elders to kind of keep him in check, he's going to be out here kind of roaming the streets like many of them are. So you want to ask him, who are his male role models and mentors, okay? Fourthly, you have to understand something. There are 100 black women to 88 black men. So what that means is, and if you went to college, you understood this gender ratio gap. It means that oftentimes men have more power because there are fewer of them. So it means that they're going to have lower commitment rates and higher abandonment rates because they're going to have other women waiting for them, which isn't necessarily the case for black women because there's so much more of them. And if you are in a bigger city, it's going to be even worse, right? It's actually like 20-25% more black women than black men. So it makes it harder to date them. So when you're asking about kind of his commitment level, you want to ask him how many relationships he's had that has lasted more than a year, okay? And finally, the reason why it's kind of harder to date black men is because of the micro and macro aggressions that they have to face, similar to what the aggressions that you have to face. But oftentimes, those things will lead to depression and anger for men, and they might bring it home, which can make it very hard for Black women to be with them. So you want to ask them how they deal with those sorts of aggressions on a daily basis and how they manage it mentally, intellectually, emotionally. I hope this is helpful as you evaluate Black men, and also I want you to date everybody, right? I know that the biggest flex and in terms of being able to find success in your dating life is to be able to date everyone. I hope this helps as you navigate your dating journey, and if you want help with that, definitely book a call with me.
Now, I like this comment. No hate. But she said nobody disliked men for no reason. We are traumatized. And I acknowledge, I understand y'all have been through things. I understand that men can put you through things when you're dealing with them. But what we need to realize is sometimes we are at fault. We saw that dog play in the dirt. We saw that dog bite people that stuck their hand out to pet them. And we understood that that was a bad dog. But guess what we went to go do? Some of you still decided to go play with that dog and didn't listen to the signs. And this is what happens. When you go play with that dog and you get dirty.
Can I pet that dog?
No.
Can I pet that dog?
No.
Can I pet that dog?
No,
Can I pet that dog?
And that dog bites you, you come back crying, talking about, oh my God, I can't believe they did this to me. The signs were there. I'm not saying these traumatizing experiences are just exclusive to women. Us men put ourselves in terrible, terrible positions all the time when we deal with women. But what some women truly need to understand is, sweetheart, you're not special. The things that you're going through are not just unique and special to your life. Men go through it, and other girlies are going through it too.
And I absolutely agree with him here. Women can see that the stove is hot and touch it anyway. Women like to give men chances even when they know they shouldn't. We see women saying it all the time. I saw all the red flags and I ignored them, and I dated him anyway. And when we dated, he did A, B, and C, and I ignored those flags and I forgave him because I loved him, and the sunk cost fallacy. And so I married him, and then when I married him, it was still bad, but the sunk cost fallacy, and then I had 2 kids and the sunk cost fallacy. And so women do this all the time. So I don't put all the blame on men. I blame women a lot because women actually know, and women still do it. So what are you going to do?
Meaning is to help men listen to what I'm saying as me trying to really assist y'all. A lot of y'all don't have soft skills, and it's honestly not your fault, because society has not valued men having soft skills because of how patriarchy functions. And so y'all aren't able to communicate with people and foster community in the same way that women are, because women and men are socialized different. It's not a natural thing. It's because y'all were quite literally not given the skill set and the tool set to be able to have lasting relationships. It's something that you have to learn and you have to adapt to, because a lot of y'all parents failed y'all. Second, a lot of men have the good guy complex. This meaning that they'll do the things that people deem as being good or being a good man, and it's all performative. It's not because they actually embody these things and it's who they are. It's because they want to make sure they're checking off boxes. So they'll pay for the dates, they'll open the door, they'll be nice, they'll seem as if they are a good person, when in actuality, they're looking at this as a complete transaction. And women are able to read through that. Because when it gets to the point of having deeper conversation, or when it gets to the point of asking them how they see the world, they always have to have this very curated answer, or they want to go super deep unnecessarily because they're overcompensating for the fact that they don't actually, they're not actually that person. And a lot of these men compare themselves to horrible men. So they think that they're doing this amazing job of being this amazing man, when in actuality, they're just being a decent person. Because they're comparing themselves to horrible men, they can't understand why women are not flocking after them, and they think that women only want the bad guy and that the good guy finishes last. And it's no, in actuality, you're not as good as you think you are. You are just very good at pretending to be this thing because you want a certain outcome. And that's not the same thing as genuinely liking somebody and doing nice things for them because you like them and you enjoy spending time with them and enjoy being in their presence. And third, because of how patriarchy functions, a lot of men don't actually listen to women when we speak. Y'all assume that we don't know what we're talking about. So a lot of y'all curate your personality, curate your style, curate your body to what other men say that women want, rather than understanding what women actually want. So even this idea of the 6 foot, the 6 figures, and the 6 pack, that comes from men. And I'm not saying that some women don't desire that 666. I'm saying that most women, it doesn't really matter to them, and y'all don't listen. This is the reason why y'all can't understand when women are attracted to men that don't fall into that category. Y'all think we're lying when we say, oh no, this person is attractive because he goes against what other men have said. And last, based off of my previous video, y'all have been made to believe that women don't care about aesthetics, that women don't care about looks. And so a lot of y'all do not pour into your looks and use what you do have in order to make yourself look better. And then you wonder why you're not getting anybody. You don't really have that great of a personality. You're not likable. And a lot of men are like, well, I don't understand why we have to be likable, because women don't need you to survive. And a lot of y'all aren't ready to really like take that idea and understand it. Men can be less when women are dependent upon them. When you actually have to compete in the dating world like women have always had to do, then you do have to do things to be likable. And a lot of y'all are not likable because a lot of y'all were raised by men who did not have to be likable. And so y'all don't see the value of being likable to women. And again, I'm saying all of this because I really see like some people are actually really struggling and really want connection and really want to be with somebody. And so some of y'all are going to take this and be like, you know what? She's right. Like, I'm going to actually listen to a woman and like do these things to become a better person. And some of y'all are going to be like, oh, this is tripping. Oh, she's lying. And for those of you, I hope you heal. And for those of you who are actually willing to do the work to understand what I'm saying, I really wish you well on your dating journey.
For a lot of dudes, the male loneliness epidemic is self-inflicted. A lot of dudes don't have any character development. A lot of dudes don't have a plan. A lot of dudes don't have any communication skills. A lot of dudes have a victim mentality. A lot of dudes don't have any manners. A lot of dudes have poor hygiene. A lot of dudes mainly are still caught up in social media tropes and trying to apply that shit to real life. Now let's tackle these one by one. Character development. Are you niggas kind? Are you niggas kind? Are you thoughtful? Are you considerate? Because guess what? If you want to be in a relationship, you got to be those things. Especially considerate. Are you willing to, when you get in a relationship, do the same things that you did to get her to keep her? And more importantly, can you enforce your boundaries, communicate those boundaries, and are you prepared to leave without stepping out on her? Can you be faithful? Can you be committed? Let's talk about character development. Let's talk about that. All right? If you ain't got any of those, you're already lost in the sauce. Let's talk about social media tropes. Are you going on dates? Are you listening to women? Are you asking her body count? Are you averse to dating women with children? Because a lot of single moms, one, they ain't looking for a stepdad. They did it on their own up to this point. They damn sure don't need you to come in and suddenly be a stepdad. So what social media tropes are you upholding? Let's figure that out. You washing your ass? Are you washing your ass? A lot of y'all got bad hygiene. A lot of y'all got bad hygiene. You don't need a skincare routine. You got a couple colognes? What colognes you wearing? What deodorant you using? What soap you using? Do you use soap? Or you one of them nasty ass fucking 3 body washes in one? That's gross. Shampoo, conditioner, and soap. If you saw that at a woman's house, dog, you'd probably be repulsed. Better yet, let's skip hygiene. Deodorant, brushing your teeth, flossing, taking care of yourself, taking care of your body. Have you been sexually tested recently? When was the last time you went to the doctor, got a physical? I'm 40. I gotta get my prostate checked in January. What are you niggas doing for your hygiene? What about your mental health? Are you niggas taking care of your mental health? Are you in therapy? Are you processing your wounds? Have you dealt with your inner child? Are you niggas ready for that? You niggas not ready for that either? Okay, so far, we talked about hygiene, talked about mental health, talked about social media tropes, talked about character development. What about a plan? Because guess what? I ain't never had no problem getting a woman. I ain't saying, listen, I'm not Michael B. Jordan. I'm not Michael B. Jordan. And I ain't never been the richest dude in the room. But I ain't never had no problem getting a woman because I had a plan for myself that I can lay out in detailed steps, let them know where I'm at. Guess what? When women talk about a man and they talk about all that provision shit, they also need leadership. I'm not saying women need to be led. I'm saying, what's your plan for when you get with a woman? You plan a date? That goes to thoughtfulness. I done planned dates. I done planned it. You got some flowers? I got a flower plug if you need it. You niggas are talking about the male loneliness epidemic and trying to put it on women. And you can't do that, man. You gotta own it. You gotta do some soul searching, some reflecting, and be like, what's my role in this to why I'm not where I want to be at? And that's what I do a lot with myself. If I want to get married, right? If I want to get married and I'm dating women who are establishing careers, they might out-degree me or something like that. Does that make me less than? No. Would I allow them to treat me as less than? No. But what is my plan? What's my plan for me? A lot of y'all ain't got no plan. You ain't single because you like Dungeons and Dragons, my niggas. You ain't single because you like anime. Let the high school tropes go, dog. Everybody's seen an anime at some point in time in their life. They may not vibe with it. They may not go to Comic Cons. They may not go to anime cons. But guess what? Everybody's seen the anime. You're not single because you have those hobbies. So maybe you need to look at some of the things I listed for why you niggas might be single and do some tackling on your own instead of looking at women and being like, I'm great, I'm perfect, why don't women want me? I don't understand. It ain't just about money, dog. You gotta have personality. You gotta have a plan. What is the plan for yourself? What's your plan for your life? 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? A lot of y'all just aren't really soaking that in and understanding that women are vibe-oriented people. They can sense. They can sense when something's awry. They can sense when you might be desperate. They can sense when you being sexual too fast. They can sense that shit. They can sense when you thirsty. They can sense all that. So when you niggas get on here, talk about the male loneliness epidemic, and you haven't taken the time to strike out and find and build community, when you haven't taken care of your hygiene, your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, when you don't have a plan, when you stop blaming women, when you stop asking women body count shit, dog, I'm saying you might find yourself a girl. You might find yourself a queen. You might get married. Bro, a relationship is supposed to make you better. It's not supposed to complete you. It's supposed to complement you. If I'm peanut butter, I need jelly. And don't talk to me about standards. Because some of you niggas want Margot Robbie and you ain't got nothing. Talking about I'm a man. She's supposed to submit. Submit to what, my nigga? Submit to what? You ain't even submitting the pay stub. So what's she supposed to submit to? Just because you a man? Y'all niggas need to be motherfucking for real.
The male loneliness epidemic is fake. You men are just horrible people and nobody wants to be around y'all. Any general issue that men face, I promise, you can trace it back to toxic masculinity. The reason why men feel like nobody cares about their feelings is because men are socialized into believing that emotional vulnerability is a sign of weakness. A lot of you men are lonely because you don't see women as equal peers and you view men as competition. Nobody wants to be around that person.
Would I say the male loneliness epidemic is fake? No. Would I agree with this brother's prognosis on why the male loneliness epidemic exists? Yes. So a lot of brothers get real holed up on the phrase toxic masculinity, but I'm going to give you all a definition of the word toxic. So we're going to use all 4 of these definitions in this example. First definition is poisonous. Second definition is very harmful or unpleasant in a pervasive or insidious way. The third definition is denoting or relating to debt that has a high risk of default. And the fourth is denoting securities that are based on toxic debt and for which there is not a healthy or functioning market. Now, the reason why I'm utilizing all of these definitions is because all of these definitions can be attributed to particular states of masculinity that are not purposeful, are performative, and are harmful. Let me explain. First and foremost, human beings are innately social creatures. And when you remove that sociability from your humanity, you create an environment of isolation, supreme isolation that can contribute to feelings of anxiety, depression, helplessness, hopelessness, and worthlessness. And for my folks who are in clinical spaces, y'all know what that trio can lead to. If we were to take this ideology and place it into a substance, that substance would debilitate you. Therefore, that substance would be poisonous. To be objectified, to be commodified, and to be dehumanized is an unpleasant experience, ask black folks. In traditional masculine ideology, women are not seen as people. They are seen as objects of transaction or trophies to be won in a state of war and or competition. If other men are seen as your competitors in this space, that can contribute to a level of hyperarousal of your mind because you're assessing everything around you as a threat. Therefore, you're never at a state of rest. You're consistently in a state of planning, actioning, and, for lack of better terms, trying to figure out how to get up, get over, or get through. Similarly, if you're not able to trust the people who are around you, it reduces your ability to communicate, to relate, and to engage. A soldier is not going to talk to the enemy that they are attempting to usurp. So once again, going back to this state of hyperarousal, you're in a consistent state of stress. That consistent state of stress debilitates your body, once again. Now this is where shit start getting sticky, right? Because the financial definitions are a little bit more fun. The market of attraction and mating for men who behave in this unscrupulous way is literally shrinking. But we as men are continuing to identify these particular attributes and these particular archetypes as useful. So I've made this analogy before that a number of men purchase their masculinity on credit. What do I mean by this? They will attempt to align themselves with these particular ideals of masculinity with the hopes of being able to communicate, to engage, and to, once again, have camaraderie. Whether it be incels, common manosphere, X, Y, Z, and A, B, and C, right? So they are adhering to this type of masculinity that invalidates the reality of others, that cannibalizes the spirit of others, and demonizes any type of engagement or vulnerability, with the expectation that the opposite will be given to them in terms of respect, endearment, and submission. They are collecting a psychological debt that, once again, has no market for buyers of this psychological profile. So then they default to isolation, i.e. being a lone wolf or being involuntarily celibate. So in short form, the male loneliness epidemic is created by us as men consistently selling this masculinity to other men that nobody else wants to buy, including some men. But what you mean? Those are the type of men that women go for all the time. A leader and a dictator have overlapping qualities. They have overlapping characteristics. But the difference between a leader and a dictator is that a dictator expects and a leader asks. The threat for not meeting the expectation of the dictator is usually violence. The outcome of not meeting the expectation of the leader is usually collaboration on how you can improve. So Odie, what does all this have to do with the male loneliness epidemic? I'm going to be very clear. Y'all keep trying to adhere to a masculinity that was literally given to men to send them to war. Because you're not fighting no wars, you begin creating wars with the people around you in order to make you feel like you're accomplishing something. When the community around you wants to stop being the collateral for your war, you begin going to battle with yourself. And when you start losing that battle, you start finding ways to numb, or you find ways to exit stage left. So then what's the solution, Odie? Understand where you need to compete and where you need to collaborate. Understand when you need to be a warrior versus when you need to be a wise man. And finally, recognize that dictators always get overthrown and leaders usually are respected. Find your way, brother. Peace.
I think this is why women get mad about I don't want to speak for all women, but I can speak for myself. I think this is why we get a little irritated when we hear the male loneliness epidemic. I feel like when we put it like that, it's as if the males aren't taking accountability for it. When you put it as a loneliness epidemic.
It's basically, they're saying that there's a male loneliness epidemic, even like the niggas who are 45 and still future, that's a male loneliness epidemic because they're so emotionally stunted from whatever happened to them that made them go click. I'm never gonna evolve into trusting someone to be in a romantic relationship with. So I'm just going to treat every woman I meet purely in a transactional sense. And when that transaction is done, I'll just slide in another one. That's a product of male loneliness, not necessarily saying that it's the women's fault, but this is what will happen to you if you don't do the work to find some self self-gratification and self-love within yourself to be okay with honestly just being alone.
You lonely because you need to step your shit
What do you
up.
think of the male loneliness epidemic? I'll tell you, here's the thing. If the men were hard workers and they were willing to put themselves together in a way that was attractive, then they wouldn't be lonely. Don't you see? It's more, they should call it the male apathy era. That's the real issue. That's the real issue. It's that they just straight up don't want to work. They don't want to work on themselves. They don't have fun or interesting hobbies. And then they're worried. They're wondering like, how come no woman wants me? Well, because why would they? The fuck? Do you see what I'm saying? You don't even have to be that good looking as a man. You could just have money in the bank, and then you'll be so attractive. You'll be so tall. You'll be so handsome. You'll have the bluest eyes. Whatever. All right? If you got money in the bank, that's it. It's just, it's if you're only ugly as a man if you're broke. Don't you get it? Don't you see that? All right? So if you just worked on yourself such that you can make money in this world, women will find you attractive, and they ought to. And that's only fair, don't you think? So you are only lonely because you can't make enough money. That's it. All right? If you could make money, you could afford better clothes, you can afford a fucking hairstylist, you can afford a skincare routine. My God, you can afford to have a little bit of a hobby here and there that makes you interesting or useful in any fucking way. All right? It's just they don't want to do anything. They're useless as all get out, and they have financial troubles constantly, and they're relying on their parents for income, and then they wonder why women don't want them. What a mystery. I don't even need Scooby-Doo to see that. That's fucking obvious. Of course you're lonely. You're not reliable. The fuck?
So once again, we have a man telling men what he thinks women want and not what women actually want. Women get with average looking or ugly men all the time. Even beautiful women will get with the ugly man, a man that society deems not attractive or ugly. And a lot of the time, those men do not have money. Those men are broke, and these women procreate with them. They have lives with them. They marry them. They date them. They love them. The problem comes in, the women start to realize how ugly they are when the men start treating the beautiful woman like she's the ugly one. He starts cheating on her and like not appreciating her, and because like I've talked about this before, women who are gorgeous, men use them to get other women. That is how ugly men get other women. They will go out, and those other women will see the ugly man, the ugly broke man who has nothing, with this gorgeous woman, and it will make the other women want him. So he kind of peacocks. Y'all know, like male peacocks, they have all the beautiful colors on their feathers. When men, ugly men, have a woman, a beautiful woman, that's what they do. They spread their feathers so all of the women can see them, and they use that woman, that beautiful woman, as a mating call to get other women. And sadly, it works a lot. But women usually don't care about a man that has money. Women should care about a man that has money, but women usually do not. And this is what women are learning has been their mistake. And now this is why you hear women talking about they want a man with money so much, because most women have their own money. And if he's not going to listen to her, the problem is most men don't listen to women. They don't communicate with women. They're not emotionally available or open with women because they've been taught not to. And women don't like that. But even when women try to tell them we don't like that, you'll hear men saying stuff like, well, a man ain't gonna just cry in front of you and tell him all your problems all the time. We don't do that. That's what women do. And I'm like, I've even had this conversation with my husband. Like, no, nobody is asking you to cry in front of them all the time and be like boo-hoo all the time, like over every little thing. Yes, that's attractive. That's unattractive. Women don't even do that. What we're saying is don't shut down and stonewall us when you're upset or mad or sad and not talk to us for days. Try not to talk to us for days. A lot of men do this. Some women probably do this too, but men do this. Don't shut down. Talk. Let's talk about what's going on. Like if you're hurting about something, let's talk. If you're watching a movie and it makes you sad, don't get up and leave the room or act like you have something in your eye because you're sad because the movie is sad. That's human. And we can't teach men that they can cry and that it's okay to tell their little boys it's okay to cry when you feel something, because they will push back on it and they don't listen to women. They feel like this is not what women want. And granted, there are some women out there that will think they're a punk or less than a man, but for the most part, women that got common sense are not going to do that. Women who actually want them to do that and are telling them to do that they want that more, they need that more, are not going to do that.
Me to feel bad for incels because most of the people that are like suffering from this male loneliness epidemic are really just a bunch of dudes that are upset that they can't treat women any kind of way, and they don't have that entitlement to women's bodies like their dads and their granddads did, because women have more access to resources now. Like a lot more women are going to college, a lot more women have the chance to be like financially stable by themselves and not have to depend on another man, you know what I mean? Like and instead of leveling up or doing any kind of self work to make themselves like a viable candidate for like marriage or dating, they just sit back and bitch and moan about how unfair society is and how society lied to them. And it's that last part right there that makes me have no kind of empathy for these dudes, because it's like they sit up and watch red pill content all day, and a lot of the content is where it has like women being held accountable, and it's just really hypocritical because they aren't holding themselves accountable for their bad behaviors and their actions, you know what I'm saying? And it's just it's frustrating because they, no matter what you say to them, they're always going to have this victim mentality about them, and it's just annoying as fuck. And now there are some dudes where it's like they have a hard time talking to people in general, and they aren't like the typical incels, and I do feel bad for those dudes because like I suffer from social anxiety, you know what I mean? I know what it feels like to be scared to talk to folks in public, you know what I mean? I have those people I have empathy for, but the other motherfuckers that want to get violent with women and force themselves onto women, y'all are hoes.
I am convinced that these men just don't like women. They just don't like us. Not saying that they like men, but they just don't like us. Every time we point out like where a man is lacking, right? So it's like, oh, we want men to be more romantic and give us flowers. Their comeback will be like, why am I getting a girl flowers? They're going to die anyway. Okay, you don't like us. I saw a meme yesterday, and it was a man like, when you're having a bad day and she sends you a selfie and your day gets worse. Huh? Y'all really hate us. We say like, oh, I love a man that opens the door for me. Why would I open a woman's door? She got two hands. She could open her own door. You hate us. Oh, we love like the girlfriend proposals, and we love the decorated hotel room. Why would I be decorating? Yo, just say you don't like us. Just say you don't like us. That's it. And we'll just move on. We'll just move on. Y'all can stop pretending that y'all actually like us. We get it. Y'all don't like us. It's cool. We're going to find somebody that does like us. And then we find the people that like us. Y'all be mad. It's no winning. It's no winning.
One thing we got to get better at as men, bro, is we got to get better at our communication. We have to understand that women use about 10,000 more words a day. Think about it. When you ask us how was your day, it's like, oh, okay, it was cool. Ask them, let me tell you about Sally and what she did and la 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 la. They like to talk. You know what I mean? So, chapter 2 of The Way of Superior Man, one of my favorite books ever, talks about shutting down is an unskillful reaction to hurt. You know what I mean? It's in my subconscious. Because I was that person that used to shut down and not talk for 2 or 3 days, be emotionally immature, things of that nature, and it took time. I think it probably took me a year to really learn how to deal with reaction when I'm hurt, if I decide to speak, you know what I'm saying? And if it's your girl, you have to understand that they hate silence. So even if you're upset with her, it would behoove you to just say, you know what, babe? I'm in my feelings right now. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to like step away for 2 hours, but I want to let you know that I love you, I cherish you, and I appreciate you, but I just got to process what I'm feeling. I don't know if it's a trigger, if it's a trauma response, or if it's something that you did. So allow me about 2 or 3 hours to just process. I'm gonna go to Buffalo Wild Wings, watch the game, and then I'm gonna come back home and we can dialogue properly so we can effectively stay connected. You know what I mean? Learn to communicate with your woman even in times where you don't feel like communicating, because speaking and opening your mind and giving her an open segue is better than shutting down and not speaking for 2 or 3 days. That's it.
Most guys suck at communicating because they're so focused on what the woman might think or what she might say or how she might feel about what you say. Instead of doing that, focus on how you feel, focus on how you think, focus on, executing a plan or going towards a goal that you want. You know what I'm saying? By you focusing on what's going on inside of you, you make it easier for her to just decide on the way she feel because she's going off of how you feel about yourself, not necessarily completely about what you say. You see, you're giving her the opportunity to choose whether or not she really fuck with you for you or she fuck with you for another reason. And how she gonna do that if you ain't being yourself? So by you being yourself, you give her the opportunity to choose. But at the end of the day, you gotta focus on you, only your side of the communication. Because you never know what she thinks. You never know what she feels. Just be you and just keep the ball rolling. Have a plan, execute that plan, and that's all you focus on. Everything else don't matter. What she do is gonna show you. I'm telling you, this shit is
By nature, men are not attractive. And that was done with a very, very clear purpose and a very clear intention. Rosa Acosta did an interview and she discussed this down perfectly.
That you don't even find men attractive until there is a base level of treatment that you receive from them. So it's not like it's like a dude that you're just like, I see him, he's hot, we're going for it.
With men, women are just, like I was telling you, women are beautiful. I am always salivating. You know when people say like, oh, like I don't want my man looking at other women. I'm probably the man looking at other women in my relationship. I go outside and I'm just like, my God, why is everybody so beautiful? I'm in love with everybody, with their hair, with their eyes, with their hands, with their everything. I'm like, gosh, everybody, these ladies are gorgeous. What y'all doing? Man, my friends will be like, oh my God, he's so hot over there. And I'm like, where? That guy over there with the hat. I'm like, oh wow, you guys, that's not cute. But it's just because men have to earn it with me. Men have to, that's so gay, but it's just how it is. It's so gay, but women are beautiful and men are not, unless they are nice people. And then they become beautiful. They're nice. They start getting, if he's balding, you kind of like stuff. The receding line kind of like pulls a little more to the front when they start being nice. If they're not tall, when they start treating you nicely, you just start feeling like the energy is giving 6'4", 6'5". Men just have to earn it with me. They start off ugly and they work their way up. Ladies are beautiful.
Notice how she said that a man being nice to her is what makes a man look attractive. A man being nice to her is what makes a man not look as unattractive. That was the whole purpose of men not being awarded beauty. Men were not awarded beauty because where they lack physically is where they have to make up spiritually. Men have to spiritually ascend in order to be attractive to women because men's physicality serves no purpose. This is the reason why they're constantly trying to remind women, we're physically stronger than you. We're physically stronger than you. We don't even live in a world where the physical strength of men is a daily requirement. We are not daily going out needing a man to protect us. If anything, it's the opposite. We have to avoid men for the sake of our protection. Men who do nefarious things, men who are predatory, men that could be very evil, a lot of them, I would say majority of them, are not attractive. They are honestly repulsive, a lot of them. There's a high level of repulsion with those men because they're already not awarded beauty, and spiritually they're in the pits of hell. And that reflects in how people look at them. That reflects in their physicality. And because of this is why men also understand that they can cut out the hard work of spiritually ascending and pretend to be nice. Men understand that the niceties that they give you is going to make you be more attracted to them. Men don't have to worry about doing spiritual work because they understand that if they play this role, if they are the nice guy, it is going to make them be more attractive to you. This is why a lot of women will be down bad over a man and you'll look at the man and you're like, What are you down bad over? What is attractive about this guy? It's because it has nothing to do with the actual physicality of the man. It's the persona that he put on and led her on to actually make her be attracted to him. It's a fake version of himself that he knows that he has to present in order to gain your attraction, because men understand they don't have beauty. Men understand that they are not awarded beauty, which is on purpose. The whole purpose of men not being given beauty was for them to spiritually ascend to where women are. Women are much more in tune spiritually. In order for a man to become more spiritually in tune, he has to strip his ego, he has to strip his pride, and he has to be willing to take in more femininity. This is why men who are married tend to look very, very attractive. This is why men that are married get a lot more attention from other women. They are spiritually siphoning another woman's femininity. They are spiritually draining another woman, and it's making them look better. It's making them more attractive to other people. This is also why men are constantly downing beauty. Even though if they see an attractive woman come up on their For You page, they're going to stop scrolling. They're going to stop scrolling because they get upset over the fact that the beauty that we have is an attachment to the spirituality that we have. Because if men are out here sleeping with animals, sleeping with butterball turkey, sleeping with corpses, imagine what men would be doing with that high of lust that they naturally have. Imagine if they had that in addition to beauty. The world would be in calamity. We would have 30,000 more diseases than we have right now, because it takes already for the male a level of spiritual ascension to get to a point where his lower nature is not driving him. That is the reason men do not have beauty, because if men had beauty, they would not know what to do with it. They would abuse it. Men are not worthy of having the level of beauty that women have. So men are constantly on the search for figuring out, how can I make up this inadequacy for me not being attractive? For some men, it's money. They will use money to make up for the fact that they are not attractive. For some men, it is them being very smooth, them being smooth talker. They'll use that. There are some men who are manipulative. They will use that. There are some men that they're the class clown. They're very humorous. They're very boisterous. They're very jokey. Men are always trying to fill in the inadequacy for their lack of beauty. And then these men still get upset about the fact that they don't get the woman that they want, or they get a woman and then they're not able to keep a woman. And the reason being is because you are trying to fill in these holes that don't apply to what women need. You're caring about money, you're caring about manipulation, you're caring about being smooth, you're caring about your skills in the bedroom, when in reality, you need to be spiritually ascending. You need to be dropping your ego. You need to be dropping your pride. You need to be getting rid of and addressing your patriarchal values. That's what makes a man attractive. At some point, the man with the money, the manipulation tactics, that man eventually becomes ugly to a woman. Because we understand that that was a cover-up for you to use a shortcut so that way you don't have to do the hard work of spiritually ascending. This is why men are saying, oh, women sleep their way to the top. Women sleep their way to the top. Men fake their way to the top. Men fake their way to the top. It's all fake. It's all niceties. It's all a performance. I seen a video about a woman talking about the reason why we have corporate culture. We converse in a very robotic way, and when you are actually talking to someone like a human, some people will meet it with disrespect, especially if you're in the work setting, is because men created that system. Men created that corporate system where it is militant, where it is robotic. There is no flow, there is no form, there is no function, because it takes for a spiritually ascended man to get to that point where he can just ebb and flow through conversation. It's not planned. It's not rehearsed. It's not practiced. This is why they have to have all of these rules and regulations and colors and greetings and things like that. Yeah, because by nature, men have to use these pickup lines. Men have to use these tactics to constantly be in pursuit of the woman to make up for the fact that they don't have beauty. And they're doing everything except the things that they're supposed to do to truly be attractive to a woman. Because the powers that be don't want men to actually be attractive to women. It's a form of power, it's a form of domination, it's a form of control that men are being taught to actually have over women. And then they don't understand why women take that as coercion. They take it as manipulation because that's what it is. Because you're constantly having to make up the lack that you have in something. Men are constantly having to make up for the lack that they don't have beauty because they don't do the work to be able to look beautiful through their spirit. And that is what women require. That is what women require because we are the spirit. We are the vessel. That is the reason why we can give life. Your niceties, your games, your pleasantries can only go so far, especially with a woman who has ascended. You're not going to get far at all with a woman who has fully spiritually ascended when you're over here talking about, oh, you're so beautiful. You're the beautiful, most beautiful woman that I've seen. No spiritually ascended woman cares about that because she understands that you're playing a role to be nice. You're playing a role to want to be liked. And we know that that's not the real you. We know that deep down, that is not who you are.
How old are you?
23.
How old is your man?
I actually have a girlfriend.
Okay, that's sick. So wait, are you bi, straight, or what?
I'm lesbian.
What made you realize you didn't like men?
I don't click with them. I don't have that emotional connection. It was kind of platonic. Like I get over it really quickly. I get bored. The maturity wasn't there. The emotional availability wasn't there. It didn't click at all.
What else was he lacking? Was it the sex too, or?
It's not even about him. It's just I personally cannot see myself marrying a man.
But were you attracted to him at all?
Anybody can be physically attractive. Doesn't mean that I want to be with them. Before anything, I had a girlfriend before I ever had a boyfriend. So I already knew that I liked girls by the time I tried to be with a guy. Only reason I tried to be with a guy was because my family's really religious.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't even for me or for the guy's sake. It was more to please my family. So
due to one of my last videos in a video I was tagged in, I'm starting to see a reoccurring thing of women pretty much having to beg people for conversation. Fellas, if you go on a date, you do know you have to open your mouth, right? You know you just can't look at her the entire time. You do understand that making the date memorable is going to be asking her about herself. The easiest way to make a first date great is just to ask the woman a bunch of questions about herself and have her talk about herself, and I promise you she'll want to go on a second date with you. Oh, this is where the tussling's gonna happen. I don't think some of you be going on dates with women that you actually have interest in. I think some of you just take women on dates because you want to touch their private parts. Come on, you ready to tussle? Because if we really want to have this conversation, there's no way in the world you're going to tell me that you're interested in this woman, but you can't ask her a single thing about herself. Better yet, you tell me you want to take a woman on a date, but the only person you talk about is yourself the entire time, and you think that's going to get the waterfall flowing? I'm going to wrap it up. Don't worry. You're not dealing with desperate women anymore. You're dealing with women that can create their own peace, create their own environment, and create their own happiness. These women don't need you. So if you, at the bare minimum, now I will throw out the bare minimum. If you can't ask this woman about herself and have a meaningful conversation, how about you start there on your growth to being better?
Is it just me, or like I don't like male attention? Like I got out of a 4-year relationship. I didn't talk to nobody for a good little minute. And then I started like, trying to explore what's out there. And it's just like, I cannot with men. Oh my gosh. You see how I look? You see how to take my kids to school. You see how I look? Talk about some, you going to work? No. So you in school? I look a child. Why are you trying to talk to me? No. Then where you going then? Does it look like I'm going anywhere? Then some other dude gonna come up here and talk about some. I don't know. He complimented me, and I'm like, okay, thank you. I don't know. I cannot. Men are just ew.
If women liked men, why don't women listen to men when they talk? Anytime a man speaks about what's going on with him, why they call it mansplaining? So he can shut up. If women liked men, why aren't women seeking to understand the people that they say they like? Because men understand a lot more about women than women understand about men. And men have to understand women. You know why? Because sex don't come easy to y'all. If a man turn her down and she can't get her way, you must be gay. You like a man, then why you trying to change everything that makes the man? Why you trying to transform him into a woman? See, you hate other women. It's too much like right to just get you a girlfriend if you want all of these feminine characteristics. No, you want to force him to do it. So women are actually looking for a woman in a male frame because the reality is women just like sleeping with men. They don't actually like men.
I also agree with this. I don't think women actually like men, and I know for a fact that men don't like women. Women want to like men, women want to love men, and women have tried for centuries, but it hasn't worked. So now here we are with the falling birth rates, the falling the rising divorce rates, and the male loneliness epidemic, because I think women are just now realizing that they really don't like men like they thought they like men. I think we have been conditioned to like men more than what we really do by like Disney and by just the patriarchy telling women that you should be with a man, and then just pushing love and all of these rom-coms in our face. Women had to be conditioned to actually be with these men, because I don't think men have changed too much. I think men have always acted the way that they're acting now. I think women are just now like coming out of that spell and realizing it. And I don't think they've ever changed. I think it's the women that are changing and seeing them in a different light.
I'm annoyed as fuck right now. Black men, get your shit together.
Black men, I need you guys to come in front of the congregation because I have a question for you. Like, why is it so difficult for you guys to, like, why is it so difficult for women to find you guys dateable? Like, I guess the real question is, why are you guys so undateable? The majority of you out here, you could be like in your 50s and you guys are undateable. So me, I'm practically 55. I'll be 55 July 26. I only date age-appropriate men. I don't date the young guys. I'm not out here, what's her name? Being Tracy Ellis Ross. I'm dating age-appropriate men. But there's something to be said. You know, there's something to learn about what she said. I'm finding it more and more that it's true, particularly when it comes to black men. And I think the issue that Tracy Ellis Ross has, because Tracy Ellis Ross have been notorious for dating predominantly black men. I've never seen her or heard of her dating a white guy. But you guys are really undateable. So I am on this dating app. 99% of the men that I meet and connect with are white. 90% of those white guys are Jewish. The 1% that I date are either black men or Asian men. Koreans, mostly. But the black men, I have spent years of my life giving you guys a chance to step to the plate, to do right, and it's always an issue. So this brother that I had met, that I had connected with this past week, and prior to him, one of the biggest issues that I had with black men is that you guys have absolutely no follow through. And then you guys are like big, like love bombers. Like you guys will text and you'll be really charismatic and like wonderful. And then that's it. It's like, okay. For me, I don't discriminate a man based on like race. So my requirements for a man, whether he's white or black or Asian, it's the same. You need to be a professional, you need to be financially impregnated, and you also need to be educated. If you're an Ivy Leaguer, even better. So, this brother, on his profile, it states that he went to Colombia. So we are now texting on the app, and he's talking to me about, I said, oh, well, how was your day? And he babbles on about this woman that he was with and how he's just moving out of the relationship because, he didn't get on with her son, who's 20-year-old, and how difficult he was, blase, blase, blah. And now he's in Charlotte. He's looking for a place in Charlotte. He'll be back in New York. We should go out when he returns to New York, and woo, 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 woo. And so I said, oh, so you're bringing your trauma and your stress from your current relationship onto a new person. Don't you think like you need time to heal? He said, oh, well, that was like May. I'm like, yeah, that was only like yesterday. Today's only July. So then I gave him my phone number. So he's texting me. And he wants to know, one of the first questions he asks is, what do I do for a living? And this question to me is always a red flag. When I just meet a man and he wants to know what I do for a living, like, men don't typically ask that question, especially living here in New York. Like, men don't ask that question. My profile specifically says that I am a tried wife and girlfriend, and that I am a modern day June Cleaver. So he's in his 50s. He knows who the fuck June Cleaver is. So for you to sit there and waste your goddamn time and ask me what I do for a living when my motherfucking profile already tells you what the fuck I do for a living. Houston, we got a problem. Do you not believe me? And I go down to say, I do not believe in being financially independent of a man. But here he is asking me this question. So I hung up on him. So he sends me a text and he goes, oh, did you mean to hang up on me on purpose? So on my phone, I'd hung up on him and I blocked him. But my iPad mirrors my phone. So on my iPad, the message came through. And I wrote him back and I said, yes, I did. It's so rude to ask a woman about like her finances. Like it's literally like the first question. That's a huge red flag for me. So he wrote, LOL, something, something crazy. Oh, okay. So I'm crazy because I think that's a red flag. You guys really are like undateable. And another issue with like black men in particular, you guys are out here trying to meet women when you just got out of a relationship, you haven't taken the time to like heal, then you want to pass that shit on to another person. So I already know from his text that he was taking care of her household, but he's so concerned about what I'm doing for a living. So you guys go and you guys invest in the wrong woman. Then you meet another woman and then no, I'm not doing that. I don't find you guys that desirable. I don't. For me to put up with your shit. Because I have men in my life who do lots of things for me, who don't ask me for anything in return, and who certainly have never asked me what I've done for a living. And I ask men for things very quickly. Because women will give emotions quickly. Men, if they like you, they're going to invest in you financially. So I asked them for, can you pay my storage bill? Can you pay, can you pay my storage? Can you pay my car insurance? I pay my insurance for 6 months. My rent, I pay that for a year. I pay that up 1 year in advance. My gym membership, I pay that up for the year in advance. So I asked them for like things that I pay monthly because I don't want to pay those monthly bills. And if they don't give it to me, then I move on. That tells me that you don't like me and you don't want to invest anything in me, and it's easy for me to just go on with my life. Because at 55, this face doesn't look 55, and the body is definitely bodying. The body is bodying, the face is facing. So I can still ask. And I'm dating age-appropriate men. I'm not dating younger men. And I'm not dating men who don't have it. So if they're not going to give it, they don't really like me. They are not accustomed to, and I don't like asking, but I do because I also go with, okay, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. But yeah, black men, get your shit together. Because you guys really are undateable. Tracy Ellis Ross is really on some shit when she talks about your shit. And it's true, and I'm finding that out. Because I want to give you guys a chance, but you guys make it so freaking hard. Now I know why Serena and all the other good sisters are with white men. And you guys are going to lose a lot more.
So I came across this video where this girl was talking about dating military men and just how bad it is and how to never date them and all that stuff. I think that's always been like a running thing with military men. Now they do have they certain icks and different stuff they got going on. But you ain't got no story to tell till you dated a cop. Okay? I don't care what nobody say. I feel like cops trump military men when it goes into the category of who not to date. Okay, I probably had the worst experiences of my life dating cops. Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all one of the stories. I'm gonna try to make it quick. It ain't gonna be a 50-part series like Risa, Tessa, Tisa, whatever. Okay, let me cut to the chase. So I was dating this cop, right? He was a very like well known in my city. So he was fine and all this kind of stuff, real build, nice body and stuff. So he used to always come in my job, all right? Yeah. I used to be like a server or whatever. But anyway, he used to always come to my job and stuff. He would sit in my section. He was just real cool. And every time he would come in, people were like, oh my God, he here. Oh, he's so fine, okay? He used to wear like this real tight shirt. Used to be heavy built. Just used to always wear like a hat. He would just like quiet and just mysterious. He would just come in, but I can tell it's like he liked the attention because when he came in, like everybody used to just go wild, like, oh my God, he's so fine, he in the building. Okay, I just wasn't ever built like this, so I was just more so of like, okay, he here, who cares, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's what attracted him to me or what, but it was one day I was on the little POS system, and if y'all ever been a restaurant, it's just a computer system. So anyway, I was keying in the order. He comes up to me and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine or whatever. He was like, I noticed you didn't speak to me. I was like, what? Or whatever, like, I ain't gotta speak to you. But anyway, y'all, he was just real arrogant. We ended up exchanging numbers, ended up hanging out. Now, everything was all right at first. And this is the true definition that you really don't know who you dealing with, okay? So the man seemed cool. I went over his house a couple of times or whatever. Things was a little weird, little eerie. I don't know. I like went over his house, and one thing that I had noticed, he had like some door. It was like some doors in the hallway. Now this one particular door had a bolt on it, like on the outside, like it had 3 bolts going down. And so I'm kind of like, why is it bolted on the outside? And it had these big locks on it, and I'm thinking like, what the hell going on in that room? So my business, okay? So I'm just like, okay. Then I go into his bathroom, okay? Because I had to use the bathroom. Now, the bathroom that was in the house, for one, I'm walking past this creepy door, okay? Because who in there? Dead, okay? So I go to the bathroom. So the bathroom is like set up like I don't want to say, for a lack of words, like a whole bathroom, okay? So it's like a rack in there with all different kind of women's body washes and it's sponges and loofahs. It's bar soap in there, every scent you could think. It's like a store or whatever. So I'm kind of like, what? It's also
packages of bonnets in there, like you can get a like silk bonnets, and I'm thinking like, okay. It was kind of weird. All right. And I also see there's like racks, like hooks in there with like silk robes in there. And I'm like, what in the world going on up in here? Didn't think that it was very clean. It just looked like it was somewhere you bring people and yeah. So I'm like, okay, didn't say that. Now, I did notice when I went up over there, he constantly was drinking or whatever. You know, he said his drink of choice was like Crown Apple or whatever. So he was just drinking. And so I'm thinking like, oh, okay then or whatever. Now, I never seen this man without a hat on. And let me just say, hatfish is a real thing. All right, because when that man took that hat off, it was horrible. So anyway, let me cut to the chase. Anyway, we talking. Now things start moving really, really fast with us or whatever. Like a week or so passed by. The man ended up giving me a key to his apartment. He ended up giving me a key to his house. A key to his apartment. And he also ended up giving me a key to his vehicle or whatever. He chose like, I think a Challenger, a Charger or something. So I'm thinking like, okay, this is like, or whatever. One thinking, can I pet that dog? No. Can I pet that dog? No. Can I pet that dog? No, he's sleeping. Can I pet that dog? Nothing of it. And I slowly started realizing him like spazzing out or whatever. Like it would be like the smallest little things and he would like spaz. Okay, so for instance, he was like, are you hungry one night? I was like, yeah, because we had just left the movies. And so we go to Taco Bell. He was like, a Taco Bell fan? I said, yeah. So we pull up. He was like, what do you want to order? So I told him what I wanted to order. Now I'm telling him, oh, no, something. And the lady on the thing couldn't really hear. So he had to keep repeating himself or whatever. So he went from being nice to like he drastically his mood would just switch off in 2.5 seconds, okay? So while I'm telling him I ordered the speaker, he just all of a sudden just looked over at me in the passenger seat. He was like, you know what? I ain't got time for this complicated order. You just won't eat. And he was doing that. I'm like, what is he talking about? So he ends up like speeding off. We get to like where you can pull out into the street. He didn't stop. He just pulls straight out into the street. People are like honking at us and everything. Like we literally pulled in the front of an 18-wheeler. And this stuff started happening like repeatedly. So I started noticing that. So I started kind of backing up a little bit because I'm like, okay, this man is like losing his mind like it's crazy, okay? Then it was one day I went over his house, right? And because he said he was going to be there after he left the gym. So I go over there. I go to the bathroom or whatever. I ain't gonna lie. I'm kind of trying to see what's in the room. If the room open or not, the room with the bolts on there. And the room with the bolt, I couldn't open it or nothing. I was just trying to see, could I get in? You know what I'm saying? Being Snoopy nosy. So then I see his room door is open or whatever. So there is a thong hanging on his door. And I'm thinking like, why is it a thong hanging on this man's door? Like, how you gonna give me a key to your house and you got somebody up over here? Cause so now I'm mad, okay? So I get a little closer. So the thong is like straight. And the string of the thong is like got brown, like it's dirty. Like, you know what I'm saying? Never seen nothing like it before in my life. So I'm like, ew, like what the hell? Who got a dirty? And it was hanging on the door like decoration. So boom, I called him. I'm like, what is going on? The only thing this man said, we'll talk about it when I get there, and just hung up. I'm thinking like, okay, so already weird. So I end up leaving. So once I leave, I'm like, you know what? I'm done with him. I'm not doing this no more, any of that. So it seemed like every time I would be done with him, he would like text and call me from different numbers. He would make like these little Facebook pages and just different ways to get in contact with me, And so it went too far. It started to just go over the edge. Like, okay, Christmas had came and like my mom had got me like this necklace set, okay? And I'm just telling you about some crazy stuff that had happened. I'm finna wrap it up. My mom had gave me like this necklace set. It was a necklace, some earrings, and a ring or something. So I went over his house one night. So I go up over there and he's like, I just think it's funny. I was like, what's funny? He was like, I just think it's funny how you come over here with another N-word got you. I'm like, what are you talking about? My mom got me this stuff. He snatches the necklace off, like dang near rips my ear by taking the earrings out of my ear, trying to take the ring off my finger, and like throws me down the stairs. Like literally. So I'm sitting up here trying to get to my vehicle because I don't have time for this, So I'm trying to get to my vehicle while I'm gathering my stuff because he also threw my purse. I'm gathering my stuff. I finally get my stuff or whatever. I get in the car. Once I get in the car, he's like, "No, please don't go," like crying his eyes out. Please don't leave me, don't go. But things had gotten so much worse, like abuse, just like it was just going over the edge, right? Okay, and it was too many unfortunate events. But every time he would spaz out, he would like give me money. He would buy me things or whatever. Like he would break my phones. Like I swear he bought me, I'm not exaggerating, probably like 10 phones, okay? Because he would break them. Like he would throw them like footballs or whatever, or he would run over them or throw them in the garbage. So this particular night when I was trying to leave to get away from him, he actually like literally took my shoes off my feet. While I was in my car, he was trying to drag me out the vehicle because he didn't want me to go because he knew he was wrong. He took the shoes off my feet, like throw them in the dumpster. Okay, then takes my keys and lunges my keys like literally over this brick wall, and I didn't even know what was over the night. This is in the middle of the night. It's like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So at this point, I'm like literally stranded, and he's crying. He's like, "No, I'm sorry. I'll get you another car. I'll get you some phone. I'll get you some shoes." Like he used to spaz. Now the craziest part about it is when I told him, I said, "This is the final straw. Like I'm done. Like leave me alone." He literally vandalized his home, okay? Like busted up things, wrote on the wall, put lipstick on the door and all that stuff. He was like, "Who do you think they're going to believe, you or me? I will take this to the police station and you will be locked up." Like literally framed me and was talking about how he was going to unalive me. And he was like, "Oh, I know where to hide you. Nobody will just all of these, like this like crazy stuff." Look, my time for to be up, all right? But I said that to say this. What was we talking about? Oh, yeah. Cops are the ones, not the day. I don't know about the military ones. I've been on their side too. They got their own. But when it comes to cops, they are so crooked and they will literally do things to you and try to frame you and try to use that, "Oh, well, I'm a cop. Who they gonna believe, you or me?" It's just crazy. Have y'all ever dated a cop before? Or was it just me? Okay, because it was horrible.
Question: are there any professions that you either avoid when dating or that are red flags for you? I'll go first. So with mine, my 2 are cops, like any type of police officer or sheriff, and lawyers. Cops and police officers, whatever term you want to use, I feel like I would avoid them like the plague because they just tend to have God complexes. They think they are the law. They think they're above the law. They think rules don't apply to them. And like, I don't know if this is paranoia. It probably is, but I just feel like they can get away with killing me. And I don't like that. My second one is lawyers, just because I feel like they get paid to lie. They're liars, they're manipulative. I feel like they're very deceitful, and they just argue for a living. And no, thank you. So, what professions do you feel that way about? Let me know.
A lot of these truck drivers be cheating too. You really think them men be going to all them states, all them places, and they ain't got no woman he talking to. So he just calling that one woman every day just to see how she doing, how the kids doing. That is a damn lie. And yes, they be paying for it. Cause ain't nobody giving them nothing for free. Ain't nothing free in this world. You really think he ain't going to no hotel? Get him a quick nut, then he gone? The whole time, "Hey baby, how you doing? I'm on the road, baby, thinking about you. Yeah, baby, keep it hot and wet when I get home. Yeah, I miss you. I'll be home in 2 days." The whole time he already got heels on. He just telling you what you want to hear. So you can think everything's okay, my husband good. But the whole time, he playing the joker on the road. Let me get this straight now. Some of these truck drivers now cost, not all of them now. So men, don't get mad. If you get mad, you're guilty. That means you're cheating. Don't get mad.
I need your help. What's your thoughts on dating a truck driver?
Well, does he own a fleet of trucks or he just a truck driver for a company? I'm not getting ready to do that. That's just, them people be on the road. They be talking all them lot lizards. I don't know what a lot lizard is. Look it up. They be at them truck stops with them people with fleas. I don't know. What you think?
This is why women don't want to date men anymore. Every man she met, they lied to her about something. They lied, said they want to marry her, be with her for 2 or 3 years, then go cheat on her after she done gave her all. The next man get her pregnant and run off on her, leaving her with all the responsibilities. Then the man don't want to see their kids no more. Then go be a good father to another woman's kids. Then the other man, she build him up, help him get a job, help him get cleaned up, and then all of a sudden he get the big head. Women start looking at him, he start making money, get a nice car, and as soon as a woman want him, he gone. You did all that work for nothing. So what woman want to keep doing it? She don't need a man she can build up. She needs a man that's built already so she can build with him. This is why women are tired of men and they reject men every day. And men get mad, they can't take rejection. That woman don't want you to use her, so get out of her face.
Women don't really need men anymore, unfortunately. And here are the reasons why. In today's day and age, guys think they go to work, they come home, they play their video games, they watch their football games, they hang out on the couch playing with their phone, they go out with their friends, and that is their day. What do women bring to the table? They take care of the house, everything looks great, take care of the kids. Hey, by the way, are we going to the parent-teacher conference? No, mom's going. Hey, did you schedule that doctor's appointment? Mom's got it. Guys, we've got to bring more to the table. If you want to feel needed and wanted by women these days, do everything like they do. Match their energy.
Why is the dating place so absolutely terrible today? When you listen to either men or women online, it sounds like 80% of men and women don't want to have anything to do with dating. Most of what people are talking about is how their dating experiences end up in toxic places. And most people are basically saying that they don't want to have anything to do with the opposite sex, you know, whether it be the quote unquote modern feminist woman or the modern, I guess, low value or non-high value man. And I want to give you my personal philosophy on how I see the dating place and what I actually believe is the reason that there's tremendous dissatisfaction between men and women. And you've never heard this before, I guarantee you, because I made it up from a decade of personal firsthand experience and a lot of studying, researching, and analyzing. The reason that the dating place, particularly when it comes to divorce, you know, where most marriages end in divorce, and even in the casual dating place, guys are having a really hard time finding genuine, sincere attraction with women who are actually interested in them. So you're hearing online now that the only guys who are being successful with women are the bosses, the top 10% of all men who are the most physically attractive, with the most money, with the best lifestyles. And then on social media, it just appears that the equal opposite would be true, which is that the finest, baddest bitches are the ones who are getting the only date-worthy men. And that's just, it's the wrong perspective to look at the whole thing. So my philosophy is this, you know, before the modern feminist movement, and this is going to piss off the red pill, before the modern feminist movement, women had to date men whether or not they liked the man, because for basic survival reasons, economically and socio-politically, women actually needed a man. Women weren't able to access the workplace on average in the same way as a male counterpart. They weren't able to participate competitively in the political system or in social hierarchy in the same way that a male would. So for any kind of sustainability, sustenance, and for social upward mobility, a woman needed to cleave on to a man, okay, irregardless of whether or not she liked him, irregardless of how he treated her, in order to have a guaranteed lifestyle, whether that lifestyle would be just basic, middle class, or upper class. And what you got to understand is modern feminism, it didn't make women, it didn't make women necessarily more masculine, although there are probably higher percentages of women who are masculine. The modern feminist movement simply gave women more equality. So they have equal opportunity to compete today. Okay, even though a lot of feminists will say they don't, they definitely do. And there are many successful women who are just as successful as men. And as a matter of fact, there are many women who are more educated than and more competitive than many men today, which is why a lot of women are saying things that they don't want to settle. But I'll tell you this. I will tell you this, whether you believe this or not, the key to romance and love is not that deeply entrenched in social economic status. By that I mean, you know, whether or not you're high value, whether or not you have a bunch of money, whether or not you have a luxurious lifestyle, that is not something that actually inspires love. As a matter of fact, you can get testimonials from many women who have been married to extremely wealthy men who tell you that when the love fades, they stay, and they stay committed for a variety of lifestyle related reasons, basically, and for the legacy of their family name, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but what sustains love when you actually ask couples who've had long, well sustained, genuine, and sincere love is it comes down to being psychologically and emotionally connected to your partner. So again, the only reason that most women don't want to date most men today, it's not actually that the guys don't make enough money. It's because, like, the only reason so many women are choosing divorce now is because they'd rather be single and do their own thing than to be in a contrived marriage with a man who they don't need and are not in love with. That's just that simple. So if you're a man today and you make a middle class or better income and you're not in atrocious, hideous shape, and you drive a decent vehicle and you can't get women to like you, that is a problem that you have. You don't understand women. You don't know how to connect with women. So the reason women don't like you isn't because of your success. It is because of your personality. The number one problem with both men and women today is that men don't understand women. They don't understand the psychology and the emotional workings of women. As a matter of fact, most men who are unsuccessful with women, especially like in the red pill community, they don't even like women. Like, they always talk negatively about female nature and femininity, which it should be no surprise to you that if you have nothing but negative things to think, feel, and say about the opposite sex, it's no wonder that the opposite sex doesn't like you. You don't like them. Why would they like you? It's coming off of you that you're repulsed by them. And then from the perspective of the woman, you know, women's problem in being able to be successful with men is that, again, that they don't understand men. So you have two groups of people that don't understand each other attempting to engage in deep social bonds. And the reason those bonds are fragile is because the foundation of just the pure connection between those two individuals is weak. They don't know each other, again, on a mental, emotional, or even sexual level. And so at the first sign of adversity or resistance or friction between the two, it's easier. Why would you stay in a relationship with somebody who you don't like, who you're not passionately in love with, who you don't have a great sex life with? Why would you stay in that relationship? I can't even blame you. So if you figure out, whether you're a man or a woman listening, how to actually understand yourself and the opposite sex better, you will be tremendously more successful in your love life. That is all. Have a beautiful day.
Really dislike men. You ever hear women say men suck and you're just sitting there like, what did I do? Easy to get in our feelings about it, but when we take a deeper dive into it, we do live in a very patriarchal society. It's been like this through all of history, still exists to this day. Job and salary discrepancies, dating and beauty standards, contraceptives. Women get the shorter stick on a lot of stuff. Because society caters to us, we have a hard time acknowledging the issues women go through. For instance, women tend to get a lot more attention compared to men when it comes to dating pursuits. As a man, you might think, oh, that's a luxury. I wish I had that. Mind you, women have men constantly coming up to after them, commenting on their looks and their bodies because society makes it okay to objectify them. It's sent hundreds of DMs they have to sort through, sometimes random nudes and other unsolicited. Really dislike men. Some men are just crazy. Those that violate and assault women. I don't know the statistics, but I know every woman either has or knows someone that has had a similar experience, meaning it's a large enough number. Factoring that men are physically larger and stronger than most women, you have to be extra cautious when interacting with us. Can't get too comfortable because if something goes left, they're typically disadvantaged in defending themselves.
If you are trying to book a 304 and you wonder, why doesn't she do AA clients? It's because typically AA clients are the worst clients that you will ever have. It does not matter if you work by yourself or if you have folks. Everyone says the same thing about AA clients. Now, I also think that AA clients are the worst, but my best client was 3 years younger than me, and he was AA, but he was a professional football player, so he's in a whole different league. An AA client usually does not have much money to spend, and they have the most demands ever. In America, AA people are not as highly ranked on the hierarchy as other types of people. So, for an AA man to feel powerful and to have his ego stroked, he likes to feel like he got over, like he won, like he finessed. Typically, AA clients do not read any of your ad copy. They do not read any of your website. They do not read anything at all. They will also complain about your rates. They will try to push your clock. So if they book a 30-minute appointment, they're going to try to make it 40 and be like, well, let me finish. Let me do this. Let me do that. They will nag you. They will get on your nerves. They will try to take advantage in any way possible. Usually, if a crime happens during your date, like robbery or assault or stealthing, it's usually an AA client. Also, they are the hardest to book usually. They'll text things like available, yo, what's up? And they also do not like to do deposits because typically they don't have as much money as other type of clients. So they are more weary and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my little deposit. If you have rules in place, they are going to try to bend your rules. Like for me, I charge for my FaceTime verifications. They're going to say, well, you just missed out on money. Why are you arguing back with me? Like most of the time, they're very sassy is what you will find out. Don't take my word for it. Just go figure it out yourself. Not all of them are like this, but 95% of them are.
What defines being a nice guy versus being a good man?
Oh, I can't stand nice guys.
What?
Can't.
What's the difference?
They're people pleasers to me. When I hear nice guy, and remember, you have to remember how I associate to the word nice. Nice means you want to make other people happy. Nice means you are walked over easily. I feel like nice guys finish last because they're always putting everyone else before them.
Heard.
Whereas a good man,
he stands 10 toes down.
He stands 10 toes down.
Yeah.
I respect a good man. I don't necessarily respect a nice guy. They gonna come for me on that one.
There's gonna be a lot of hurt people in the comments.
Oh, it's so funny. When have you last heard a man say, I don't need no woman? Never.
I was going to say,
right?
when I say it,
never. Because but women do say, I don't need no man. So when you talk about not needing women, there's a thing called misandry which isn't spoken about, but misogyny is always spoken about, and misandry is the hatred of men. And I think that is on the rise more so than misogyny.
I understand misandry.
Why?
Go on. I can't do this today. I cannot. I just understand.
You understand why women hate men?
Yeah.
Why?
If I was a woman, I would stay away from men.
What? You sound like a woman by saying.
Can I pet that dog? No. Can I pet that dog? No. Can I pet that dog?
No, he's
Can I pet that dog?
David,
you sound like a woman by saying.
Finish the thought.
Yeah, you need to elaborate on that
I like being safe. I like my emotions being safe. I like to safeguard myself. If I was a woman, I'd feel like there are good men. I'd feel...
You can't just stop talking to men.
But the percentage and the possibility and likelihood that even somebody that appears good to me could turn out to have 2 families later is high enough that I would understand someone allowing it for my own safety.
It's not all men. Here's the main takeaways. When women say men are XYZ, they're not saying all men. Most women don't go around saying every man is this, this, and this. Everyone should know this. So when a woman is telling you about her experiences with men, stop inserting yourself as the men. She's trying to tell you how women are forced to look at men in general. You won't fully understand it because you'll never have to deal with it. Take a step back from your masculinity. Try to understand. For the men that choose to be obtuse and die on the hill, we ain't even arguing with you, big dog. You know you think specifying which men it is more important than the main issue at hand. You know you think any man speaking about women's issues must be a simp or is trying to get in their pants. By the way, that's toxic masculinity. There is a small fraction of women that take it far and hate every man that's breathing. That's not the majority of women, and that's not what I'm talking about. No one should be hated simply on how they're born. Now here's my last point. Ben, when you tell women to watch out for men and don't trust guys, is your point invalid because it's not all men? I'll leave you with that.
I want to talk about this trend where girls are coming out saying, I'm just so uninterested in men. The men are just not meeting my requirements or my needs. Baby, they always been like that. You're just not in fantasy land about men anymore. You're dealing with who they are. You're not just going off of their potential or going off of their words. You're looking at their actions and you're really truly starting to see men in masses for who they truly are. And so majority of men you are uninterested in. You may come across one that you would be interested in, but men as a whole, you are uninterested in them, and you are done with the over infatuation when it comes to them because you're no longer in fantasy land. Congratulations. You are now officially a grown ass woman, and you will start to be more selective, and you will start to make smart choices when it comes to men. And this is the place that you need to be. You have arrived. Enjoy this freedom.
It honestly is very sad, but the more quickly that you get it through your head that Prince Charming is not real, the better off you will be. The women I know who are subjected to the most harm are still looking for their fairy tale. They're still looking for their Prince Charming. So the quicker you get it through your head, the quicker you accept it and mourn Prince Charming and grieve him and get over him, the better off you will be.
Bro, I don't think I understand. The more women pay bills, bro, the more they don't like us. The more women pay bills, the more they do not like us, nigga. First thing that come up in their head, what the fuck I need a nigga for? I do everything on my own. These niggas can't do shit for me. Oh, it's just the niggas that you picking, baby. You need to get you a nigga that's, you know what I'm saying, that's having his and can have you as well.